Okay. Hey Tom, what's going on, man?
Not much. Good.
All right, and we're live.
We're live, ready to go.
We're live and ready to go.
All right, keep that music going, Taylor. I want to welcome everyone to this live chat that we've got here with Boston Tweet. My name's Ken Elmore. I'm Dean of Students here at the university, and we've got a few firsts that are going on. So first, I got to say, this is, I think, the first live chat we've done at the university where we got a studio audience. Let me hear you, studio audience. So we got people back there. This is also the first live chat, I bet, where we've ever had a DJ. So I want to thank my man back there, Taylor Walker. He needs a moniker of some sort, so help him out. I'm calling him Taylor T-Bone Walker because I think that works with Aaron T-Bone Walker. It's got some connections there. And we thank him for throwing a little music up. He's got some James Brown right now. I also want to thank BU Central, Amanda, for letting us come down here today. I think this is a great, cool spot to do this. Also got to give a shout out to Mary, to Jenny, and also to Kat for making this all possible, and certainly our good friends at BU Today for making it possible too. So we are going to talk today, and by the way, just go right ahead and tweet in. Make sure you use the moniker or the hashtag BU Chats. If you've got a question and you want to join this conversation, feel free to do it, or run yourself over here. Come down to BU Central because we will be taking live questions from people in the audience as well. So I'm here with Boston Tweet. And he's a guy that, it's interesting, we met over Twitter, right?
We did. The physical location was Cornwall, to no surprise.
Yes,
but,
geez,
we met via Twitter.
I was
you
having
and
a
John.
soda for sure.
Yeah, I had a,
okay.
I had a little more than that. Your soda was absolutely dark and foamy.
It was very good, root beer.
But yeah, we met via Twitter, I think March '09. You guys, actually the first university to really connect with me and say, I think what you're doing is cool stuff and why don't you meet us for a beer.
Okay.
And, met you and Johnny and guys like James and a lot of great guys here.
Sure. Now you are known as, I'm sure, when you came into the world, you weren't Boston Tweet, you're Tom O'Keefe.
Yeah, my mom only calls me Tom.
I've
I've actually legally changed my name to Boston Tweet since Tom O'Keefe's kind of, no one knows me anymore.
Is that right? And I hear your mom's watching too, by the way.
If she's technically enough to figure out how to watch, yes,
Right.
but I'm not quite sure if that's really happening.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got this massive following that you got out there right now in Boston.
I don't know. It's just I started it November '08 when the markets were crashing, and just as a way to keep focus on local business, make sure people were going to restaurants, bars, just going out and enjoying the city. And from there, to my surprise, it really started taking off because I had startups all before then that I technically built, and this was just Twitter stream, and it turned out to be one of the most recognizable things that I've done. And people just started coming back with great feedback, favorite bars, restaurants. People love to scream about their favorite places, especially if they're at work and they're talking about it and going out afterwards. And from there, it just grew and grew, and pretty much have done it every single day since November 20th, '08, without a day off.
Really?
Yeah. But it's not really tough work.
No, it's not. I was going to say. Well, it's got to be tough, though. You've got to always come up with something off the top of
Yeah,
your
you're always
head.
connected. You always have to figure out what's going on. But now, people feed me with a lot of great information. They'll send at Boston Tweet a tip or a photo, and actually anything, a video, a photo, a tip gets published directly to my website within a few minutes. So it's great. It's sort of like social journalism at its best, and to see where people are on the streets. Twitter can hit what's happening in the city before any news outlet out there. BZ, the Boston Globe, just because everyone's on Twitter. It's people on the street. So that's kind of the most interesting part to me about Twitter.
And my sense is you've got a following that's a lot of college students, a lot of younger people in the city of Boston, or am I wrong about that?
No, you're totally right. I can't figure out the demographics, but I would assume roughly 75% are between 21 and 30. A huge following at BU, Emerson, two great social media schools, and then a lot of recent grads. But I talk about things of value. So cheap eats, cheap beers. I'm not going to Capitol Grill, can't afford it. So it's it's stuff of value. So I'm really probably an economic scheme, not too much higher than most of the students.
So let's, if you don't mind, we'll pick your brain a little bit, talk about some of those things. If I were doing a bucket list, if I were a first-year student, if I were a senior, if I were a grad student, I'm in the city of Boston, great city, I hear a whole lot about it, I'm here to experience it a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about some of those things you think that might be useful for people to check out, experience, and how they could experience over the course of their time here. I'll start off, one of the things that I absolutely love are the museums and the ways that you can connect with some of the museums here. What's your take?
Yeah, they're great. The Museum of Science, the MFA, Gardner Museum, they're all absolutely beautiful. The Gardner Museum is beautiful. And all this time of the year, they actually all have free admission for college students, or they have college nights. I shouldn't say every night, but beginning the 20th, I think Museum of Science has free admission college night.
Right.
The 23rd, the MFA has free admission for that night. The ICA out in the Seaport area is free every Thursday night, excuse me, after 5 o'clock. It's a beautiful museum, really cool down there. An area that probably most students or most people really don't get to out there, and
Sure.
it's really building up to an entirely new modern city.
And it's a very hip museum too.
Yeah, it's cool.
The
It's
ICA
cool
has got some real
architecture.
hipness to it.
Yeah, really beautiful view to Boston Harbor looking into Rose Wharf area. It's a great spot.
I often say to people too, you want to impress a date, you go to the Gardner Museum. It is beautiful, it is romantic, it is heart, it is love. It's this wonderful feel of
Yeah,
that
it's
place.
gorgeous. Courtyard and Gardner After Hours, just a cool night event with music and cocktails. I think there's one coming up in maybe the 16th. Don't
Yep.
quote me on that one. Is it
think
the
you're right.
16th?
I
But
think you're
in
right.
the next
I'm not
week
sure.
or two, look it up.
Well, I'm going to do a little plug too. I hope Boston University students know that with your BUID, you can go to the Museum of Fine Arts for free, and you can go to the Institute for Contemporary Art, the ICA, for free. You just got to be able to have your BUID, show it, and they'll let you into that space. And a quick plug for the symphony. BU students should get symphony cards, and make sure that you show that. You can use a symphony card for at least 25 shows over the course of the year, and they add more all the time. And hey, it's prepaid, or it is part of your Boston University experience. So I take advantage of that. So
I need to get a BU card.
you need to get a BU card. And quick show of hands, how many people here in our studio audience knew that you could get into those places for free? Oh wow, almost every hand's going up. All right,
Yeah,
that's
we-
great. That's great to see. Fantastic.
So I guess the free admission after 5 is only good for me.
Yeah, right. Hey, and by the way, I want the folks out there, just feel free, raise your hand and let me know, and we'll let you get in with any of your questions. Kat, we got any questions coming in over the chat?
Still looking.
All right, that's fine. So while we're waiting for a few questions, you said something really interesting to me about traveling between spaces and getting around the city, best ways to do that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I personally think just get outside and go for a walk is the best way to discover the city. Avoid the T. In all honesty, a lot of times you could probably walk faster than the T, but I walk all over the city. It's the only way to get around, and it's the best way to find little cool restaurants, little art on the street, murals that are in an alleyway. It's just the best way to discover things that you wouldn't otherwise if you just were transported from here to Harvard Square and you miss everything in the middle. From Copley Square to South End. Kimmel Square behind Fenway Park, things that are happening.
I agree.
Inman Square is a great section if no one's been. A lot of times it's tough to cross over the river, but Inman Square is one of my favorite places, Davis Square.
And these are places in Cambridge?
These are Cambridge. Yeah, actually Davis is Somerville, but right on the border. And Harvard Square, everyone knows Harvard Square, but Harvard Square is a great place to just hang out, especially on the weekend. Live music going on there all the time, just cool, eclectic, funky people. I remember my first time I went to a university that's located about a mile down the street here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Going outbound on the Green Line?
Outbound, yeah. I think it's the last stop on the B line.
And we're not going to hold this against you because we like you, but we understand you might have went there.
Yeah, I was forced to go there.
That's what I heard. All right. But
Actually, I shouldn't say that.
But we're gonna
It
put
was
that
actually,
aside.
It was a remarkable experience. So
I've got to get you to a hockey game pretty soon.
I went to the Bean Pot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and actually BC won the Bean Pot.
December 3rd
Oh, December 3rd.
at a Gannis Arena.
All right, December 3rd, Tom, you can be my guest at Aganis Arena, but you cannot wear anything that's maroon.
I usually wear navy or black.
All right, very
So
good.
it's very neutral. But I remember my first week at school, we went to Harvard Square and caught Rocky Horror Picture Show at the midnight showing. Every Saturday night they have a midnight showing here for, I don't know how long it's been there, 20, 30 years or so. And it's an awful, awful movie, but
Great experience, though.
especially for a kid from a small town that just came into the city, it's awesome experience. Everyone is dressed up, everyone acts out the entire movie throughout it, and especially for new students, it's an unbelievable experience.
How many
that
of
I
y'all-
still remember.
How many of y'all have been to Rocky Horror Picture Show? Wow, not enough people.
Two.
Get your
an
raincoat
awful movie.
and go. Yeah, it's the worst movie ever made, but
It's
it's
just
a
this
wonderful
cult
experience.
following behind it, and everyone dresses up and acts out the play. It's cool.
No doubt. Kat, you got a question?
We have a question from Hey Man. What's the best place for breakfast in the city of Boston?
Okay, so this question coming from Hey Man, in case we haven't heard, you didn't hear that. And his question is, Tom, what do you think is the best place for breakfast in the city of Boston?
Breakfast, Paramount on Charles Street in Beacon Hill is a really cool buffet-style, seat-yourself breakfast place that's really good. Friendly Toast over on the other side in Cambridge is
Great place.
amazing. Those are kind of a little more, the Friendly Toast is a funky place, really cool. A lot of places, Tremont 647 has a great brunch in South End. Eastern Standard right up the road here.
Sure.
They're all probably a little higher end ones, but Paramount is a great spot. In Austin, I go to Union a lot, which
Union's
is
great.
A great little spot right on Harvard Ave there.
Right. I'm still also partial to the Busy Bee as well. Right
Oh,
here,
yeah?
right here on Beacon Street. You will get a heart attack after you leave, but it's just tasty. It's wonderful. Other folks have questions. Yes, sir. We got John Battolino in the audience there. What's your question, John?
I get all the time in Boston, where's the best place to grab seafood, particularly some cheapies? Now that No Name has been commercialized, what's the cheap seafood place in Boston?
So in case people didn't hear that, the question is, it's come from John Battolino, who's sitting out there. He says that he's often getting asked from people, since they're in Boston, we're going to have some seafood. So where's a good place you think to go for seafood? And in particular, something that's not too bad on your pocket.
Yeah, with seafood stuff though, it's a little pricey. The Barking Crab's a pretty cool, unique place right on the harbor there. All open. It feels like you're in Newport, Rhode Island instead of Boston, Mass. It's nothing fancy. It's a clam shack.
I used to work down there, and I'd go there all the
Yeah,
time.
I did too. It's a little more fried end of food,
Yeah.
but it's pretty good. What else do we got?
That's a great one
Yeah,
for
it's
the
a great
price. I think for the price, that's a fabulous one.
Everything else is higher. Turner Fisher's a great seafood place, but
Sure.
definitely on the higher end. They actually, on Thursdays, they'll have cheap lobster rolls for about $2. So they do have deals on Thursday, but normal dinners are quite expensive there, but they're good.
I see Sarah M's got her hand in the air. You want to add to this conversation, or you got a question?
I had a question.
All right, go for it.
I have like 500 pages of reading every week because that's my major, and I'm curious as to where you think the best like peaceful spot to get some reading done and hang out is.
All right, so here's this great question from Sarah M out there in the audience, and the question is, if you've got 500 pages of reading to do a week because you just got it like that, what are some of the best places maybe to go, peaceful spots to go and to get something like that done? And maybe a little inspiration too.
Yeah, so you don't want to be on Wi-Fi, huh? Probably
No,
not.
Not necessarily.
So, because that's a huge distraction. There's a lot of great Wi-Fi cafes. I would say somewhere outside in the park, especially right now. Copley Square, right in the green there, is really quiet and keeps your attention. See what I'm saying? What other kind of
What do you
places?
think about the Boston
There's
Public
actually
Library?
there's a couple of parks right around the corner from here, going towards Brookline. I can't remember the street, Prospect Street maybe, that are really nice and quiet. The BPL, yeah, the garden and the courtyard in the BPL is absolutely gorgeous. They have waterfalls, and thanks for reminding me of that one.
Truly
It's a little
historic
stumping on that
place,
question.
great place.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And to be honest, I hadn't visited that until last year for the first time,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely gorgeous. If you go in on the side closest to the train station.
And if you're not too distracted, a great thing to do is to go to public gardens, hop a bench in the public gardens, and just sit and read too. I often find that that's a wonderful experience. But if you're not going to be distracted, because there's a lot to distract you in the public.
There's a lot, but yeah, there's no Wi-Fi and stuff. But the gardens right now are absolutely amazing, absolutely gorgeous. They do an unbelievable job there. And right now you have the tall palm trees, the fall foliage stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. Other questions that folks might have out there? Yes, sir.
Kind of a reverse question, what was just asked. I like doing a lot of my reading online, so I want to know where a good internet cafe is.
Okay.
Just sit around and be online.
So our guy T-Bone Taylor Walker over there, our DJ asked a really great question. He says, reverse question, if I do want to do some reading online like he does and a lot of people do, I'm looking for a really good Wi-Fi cafe. Talk to me a little bit about those.
Probably Trident Cafe on Newbury Street is one of the coolest cafes. It's a bookstore, it's a cafe, you get milkshakes, free Wi-Fi. I think it's been around for years. It's
They won't
a really
chase
cool
you
spot.
there, will they?
No, you can totally sit as long as you want. I mentioned Union earlier. You can actually just hang out there for as long as you want to. Harvard Crema Cafe, which is a little hike, but that's a great spot. Clear Conscious Cafe in Central Square is
Great
awesome.
spot.
And
And we
also-
like Clear Conscience because one of our alumni, Dan Goldstein's over there. He runs that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great spot.
Great music there too. It's a very cool spot.
Each week on our Coffee and Conversation that we do Fridays from 3 to 5 right down here, not in BU Central, but just across the way in the Howard Thurman Center, Click Conscious Cafe supplies the cookies and the great coffee that they got there. Yeah, but it is a great spot
Yeah,
too.
it's cool.
Any places, I don't find that people tend to chase you away anywhere.
No, they don't, because it keeps the place busy and
Yeah.
it's good for them. Another one, actually, Pavement Cafe up by Berkeley, is a really cool cafe. Great art, great art. Excuse me. Funky decor inside. It's a great spot. It's actually owned by the Bagel Rising, which probably a lot of BU students are aware of, which is a great spot.
Taylor, have you got
Espresso Royale too. I think they're all the same
Yeah,
company.
very close. Espresso Royale right across the street. Have you got a good spot?
For
Yeah.
just sitting around the internet?
Yeah.
My couch.
Yeah. Taylor says his
Gets
great
the hell
spot
out
is
of the
his couch. His couch is a great spot. That's why he needed to find something new. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
We actually got a reply to BU tweets. She didn't use the hashtag, but I figured it was worth mentioning. I think she was talking about breakfast. She says Lucky's is her favorite. She says they have Sinatra Sunday brunch.
They do.
So I hope folks heard that. Lucky's Sinatra Sunday Brunch over at Lucky's is a great spot, and it's a suggestion that just came in over the web, too. That is a great spot.
Yeah, it is a cool spot.
Tell me the coolest spot you've been to, Tom. Place where you just say, you gotta go here.
Honestly, it's probably no secret that I love Eastern Standard.
Uh-huh.
It's just a cool bar. I think I've seen you there once or twice.
Well, I've been there
three
once
times.
or twice. I've been there.
I think it's just a really cool place. It's the cocktails are a little expensive, but they're amazing cocktails. Great vibe, great atmosphere there. After midnight, they actually do have specials, like $4 or $5 specials on meals and stuff. So it's just a cool spot.
And they got some really interesting things after midnight there. Things like bone marrow that
Yeah.
I heard you really enjoy.
It's disgusting. Yeah. It's awfully fatty, but yeah, they have some really cool, unique dishes. And as a restaurant too, even during the normal hours, it's awesome. Baked rigatoni is ridiculous. It's amazing. Just a really cool spot. Love that place. That's in Kenmore Square. I also have a kind of predilection towards Public House, which is in Washington Square.
I've seen you there a couple of times.
Yes, that's funny. I've seen you at a lot of bars.
I'm
So
eating.
it's towards Brookline. So it's kind of, I remember when I was in school, I never really broke away from kind of the campus. So if you wander into town or if you wander, Central Square is really close from here, just over the BU Bridge. You can easily walk there. If you wander towards Brookline in the other direction, there's a bunch of great places in Coolidge Corner and Washington Square, and Public House is in Washington Square, which I believe is the best beer bar, craft beers bar in the city.
And also
you have
good food there,
Sunset
too.
around here too. Yeah, the food's great.
Some food, good food there.
Sunset's in Alston, another great bar. Lord Hobo in Inman Square is another great beer bar. If you like really unique, hard to find beers, those three places are top for that.
Alston's an interesting place too because I see there are lots of great ethnic restaurants down in Alston, lots of possibilities there. And, I'm liking this vibe that Alston could really be this great sort of artist community,
Yeah.
actually. I'm starting to see a little bit more of that down there. I mean, what do you think?
I agree. I remember years ago looking at it. It's so cool. There's so many unique places. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's all these different cultures. I think it has a lot of potential to even become as popular as a Newberry Street, but obviously with a totally different alternative feel to it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think it still needs to be cleaned up a lot. It's still, but maybe the grit is what makes it unique.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. I think it's a great area.
And we were talking earlier that the city of Boston's a wonderful place during the summer, but once the big clientele, our students, get back, really has that life and that vibe to it, where even if it's a little gritty, a little grimy, it's got the right kind of grit and grime vibe to it, given the people who are there, making it very lively, vibrant place.
No, it's great. Alston's definitely pumping. I mean, Common Ground's a great place. It's a fan of it.
Yeah, I found a great place that has incredible falafel. I think it's called lemon and garlic or lemon.
Garlic and lemons.
What's that?
Garlic and lemons.
Garlic and lemons. I love that place. Garlic and lemons, right on Harvard Ave.
Yeah.
Is that where it is? I just love the falafel there. Love all the food there, but the falafel is just out of this world at that place. And it's sort of that sign, I think, of kind of this newness, this freshness to Alston that I really appreciate. I see Raul out there wanting to ask a question or throw into the conversation.
Sure. Interested in places for live music, and I don't mean a Gannis Arena like large concerts, but small venues, live music, maybe even some places with acoustic music.
So the question is, and this comes from Raul out there, what about some of those places around where there's good live music or a good vibe for live music, but we're not talking arena style. We're talking places like that, smaller places where people can connect up with the musician a little bit and get a good atmosphere. Some thoughts?
Well, probably a little bigger than what you think of it. Right down the road to Paradise, I mean, there's just a great stream of bands that come in through there, and a lot of times you can get them $10, $15. But they just renovated it, so I'm not sure how it looks now, but it's one of my favorite places. But that's a little more kind of your venue style. Regarding music, if you go Atwood's Tavern, which is actually on the other side, has great music every weekend. You got like Tim Garrison playing there all the time. The name is slipping me. Kind of a legend in Boston, sort of these acoustic Bob Dylan type of guys. They always have a great set of music. Wally's, which is
I love Wally's.
on Mass Ave towards Sympathy.
Wally's
Jazz, blues.
got that real funkiness to it
Yeah.
too. It's a small place. The owner meets you in the
It's
door.
narrow.
I wouldn't drink anything that doesn't come out of a bottle in there. But man, the vibe is just beautiful at
Yeah.
that place. And you are right up on the musicians. Great music in there.
It's a cool place. What else am I missing here? And all these are none of these are really cover bands. They're all bands that, promote their own music. Of course, the Middle East and Cambridge has great bands. Middle East upstairs, even the cafe has guys playing out front there. Central seems to have a lot of great music halls there, and Central Square more.
And then I also find that there are a lot of these sort of hole-in-the-wall places in and around Boston and Cambridge, places you'd never associated with music. They'll sometimes have bands in them. You know,
Yeah.
I was once in, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but I was in Cambridge, near Central Square, and it was a Chinese food restaurant.
All
And
Asia Cafe?
Asia Cafe.
Yeah, it's
there
a
you
dump.
go. And
Actually, I probably shouldn't say that, but they got some, and
they had some good bands playing there.
They opened the windows up too,
Right,
and in the
right.
summer you can hear that music blocks and blocks away,
Yes.
and they really do have some good bands. And I think
They
they have
do.
music every single night.
Yep.
Don't think there's a cover.
I didn't pay a cover.
I know Wally's doesn't have a cover. Atwood's usually is around $10. I don't think All Asia has a cover.
Yeah, Middle East doesn't usually have a cover. That depends. Right?
Well, Middle East downstairs.
Downstairs,
yeah,
yes.
it's more like in a $20 range. Upstairs, I think you can usually get $10 to $12 or so for various bands.
And I've
And they
seen-
always have 4 or 5 bands that are playing through there.
And I've seen plenty of BU students not only over there but playing over there as well.
Yeah.
A lot of good bands. I think in and around campus, and a lot of people were connecting and putting some good music together.
And actually, the House of Blues kitchen front room, they have music every single night. Local bands, some phenomenal guys that come through there. It's no cover, it's free. It's the main House of Blues is on your right. This is on the left. They have guys like Jesse D, who are phenomenal singers. Johnny Trauma, who hands down should be playing to 50,000 people.
Wow.
He's just a great guitar player. And you have all these great musicians that are local that play there. And of course, the House of Blues next door is, a larger venue that has probably 4 big national acts.
Yeah,
Probably the best place in Boston to see a band.
it's a great place to see
Yeah.
a band. Other questions folks might have?
We got a question, best place to people watch in the city, and that's actually someone who tweeted right from in this room.
So someone in the room just tweeted asking
The tweet
about.
came from
Just
inside
be
the
online and
house.
watch this.
And so the question is, talk to us a little bit about good people watching spots.
It depends on what kind of people you want to watch. Park Street is always entertaining at the
Okay.
Park Street Tea.
Yeah, what makes it entertaining?
You definitely got a lot of characters that just hang out there all day, and whether they're preaching or just on the street panhandling, it's an entertaining stuff. Obviously, if you want pretty people watching, Newbury Street, just to sit on a stoop there for a while, you always get a huge rush of people, especially right now, and on the weekends it's packed. Harvard Square is too, and just hang out. There are places that just have a ton of people coming through.
How about celebrity watch? So I know there are a few classes out there where people have to try and get a picture of celebrities,
Yeah,
and they're
I've
always
seen
racking their brains trying to find out where they could watch for celebrities. Where's a good spot to go look for a celebrity? Where am I going to find Shaq if I need to find?
I've never seen a celebrity in
You,
Boston.
you haven't?
I saw Katie Holmes on Newbury Street once.
Uh-huh.
Boston's it seems like a very under the radar place. I don't know. Now with the movies coming in, you will definitely get more appearances of sort of these movie stars that are filming here. Anna Faris was just through town. I don't know necessarily where to go. A lot of the places on Newbury Street, probably Stephanie's or Joe's there. I think Daisy's was a popular place for that. I don't go there, but I probably don't go to
Sounds
the
like
places.
there's a story there.
I don't ever go to the clubs or sort of those types of places, so I never really I never bump into them at all.
Hey, so I'm always looking
Actually,
at.
I saw Flea at Eastern Standard.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was one of the coolest things, actually.
Flea was there.
Flea, the bassist for Chili
Is-
Peppers. It was
Is Tom
awesome.
considered a celebrity? Because I'd go to Anna's Taqueria.
Right. So if Tom, someone said if Tom is considered a celebrity, it's Anna's
That's really
Taqueria.
easy.
That's where you can find celebrities.
One or two, Anna's or Eastern Standard.
Or Eastern Standard. I noticed too, you're always, maybe in the summer I'm noticing this, but you're always asking about ice cream, people's
Yeah.
suggestions for ice cream. Boston, I understand, is one of those places in America where we consume an incredible amount of ice cream all year. Talk to me about some good ice cream spots.
Yeah, I looked up the stat. It's
one of
a ridiculous stat. The Northeast blows
huge.
away the rest of the country. It's
Blows it away.
unbelievable. Best restaurant best ice cream right in the city, I think, is Christina's. which again is Inman Square. I'm throwing everything in Cambridge, but Inman Square. Toscanini's in Central is really good.
That is good.
Of course, JP Licks is all throughout Boston. There's a number of places. Newbury Street, there's one in Coolidge Corner, and a dozen or so places are really good. Those are probably the tops in the city. If you're going a little out of the city, I was recently introduced probably a year or two ago to Kimball's, which is amazing. They give you pretty much this much ice cream, which is a small.
Right?
For
It's
$3.95.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a hike though. I think it's like 30-40 minutes.
Yeah,
but
it is.
if you're addicted to ice cream like I am,
That's it.
really worth it.
Kat, we got a question?
We have someone made a comment about the best place to watch soccer in Boston, which leads to the question, what's the best place to watch soccer or any other sports in Boston?
So someone from online is asking, what's the best place to watch soccer in Boston, or even better sports spots to watch in Boston? And I'm wondering what they mean by a good place to do that. I'm wondering if they mean a place where there are lots of people who are fans. Is it a place where there are not a lot of people and you can stretch out? What makes for a good spot?
I think they mean fans.
They want fans,
well,
and probably soccer fans.
Soccer, probably the coolest place, Phoenix Landing in Central. It's a crazy soccer bar. It's a lot of Europeans watching the game, especially the World Cup. And the Banshee in Dorchester are two huge soccer bars. Regarding all around sports bars, football, I think to view, Jerry Remy's is pretty awesome. Have you been there?
Jerry Remy's a great place. It's big, it's nice, it's a wonderful space.
Really cool space.
Good food too.
Yeah, not bad. Right near behind Fenway Park. And Fenway Park has all of them, Cask and Game On next door. But
Sure.
I think Jerry Remy's is the best for watching sports.
Yeah, it's a great place.
We got a couple other comments. Someone said the cafe on Boylston, run by Berkeley, has fun free concerts several times a year. Small venue, good vibes.
Yeah, what's the
873.
So some folks are suggesting that 873 Boylston Street, it's a cafe that's run by Berkeley School of Music, and of course they've got some great music that's in there. It's a pretty small venue, very similar to BU Central, maybe a little more tricked out
It is, yeah.
than this. We like ours like this, but it's a little more tricked out, but they do have some great music
Yeah, it's
that's
great.
there.
Cafe 939.
939.
Boylston, next to Cactus Club. It's really, actually, probably acoustically, it's phenomenal.
It is.
It actually really blew away the Paradise acoustically. So I saw Greg Laswell there a couple months ago, and he was really good. It's a great place, and tickets are cheap. You buy them the night of, and it's a great show. I think Andrew Bell's coming up there pretty soon. Some great artists. Very under the radar guys that have huge fans, but are not big national acts.
Very good.
As of yet, maybe.
Jenny, you had another comment?
Yeah, we got someone, I presume that she was talking about breakfast places because she just said Zaftig.
Well, we were talking breakfast places, and the comment was Zaftig.
Yeah,
That's on.
We totally left that. That's Harvard Street in Brookline.
Yeah.
Actually, that's, yeah.
Great place.
Yeah, they actually just opened another shop out in Natick. It really is a great place.
And I'm going to say on Sundays, if you want to go for Sunday brunch, you better get there early
Really?
because you're going to wait online. It's a great
Sometimes
place.
1 to 2 hours wait.
Yes,
It's absurd.
you'll wait quite a while, so
Yeah.
don't wait last minute to try and go there and get together with your friends and just go to Zaftig. You got to show up and be ready for a bit.
I'll say a tip on that is to get there, put your name in, and then go to the Barnes & Noble bookstore nearby. It's about a 45-minute wait at least, so you might as well just go check out some books in the meantime.
So some folks in the audience suggest that what you got to do is just get your name on the list and go somewhere, do something like hang out at a bookstore in the area, and you're going to be waiting for at least 45 minutes. But it's once you get in, they got some great food there. It's really well worth it. Jenny, other comments coming through or questions?
Yeah, we got a few people making suggestions. They're saying the Lansdowne Pub, Ned Devine's. Of course, they're not saying which part they were. talking about.
I've gone and seen some soccer in the Lansdowne Pub. I actually watched a lot of the World Cup there, and what a great atmosphere, a lot of space. It was a wonderful place
Yeah, it's a
to
huge place.
really watch a game. And they got a pretty good burger there. Talk to me about burgers.
They
I'm
have
always
fried
on the
Twinkies
quest.
too.
What's that?
They have fried
They
Twinkies.
fry-
Yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of disgusting, but
Well, talk to me about burgers. I'm always in search for the best burger. Where have you had a really good burger?
I think always wins whenever I do a list. RF O'Sullivan's.
Oh, wow, really?
Which is out, I believe, in Somerville. Always kick spot when it comes to burgers. But you got Bartley's in Harvard Square. Harvard Square always kind of has those old school diners, Charlie's Beer Garden sort of places there. Closer here, what kind of burgers? American Craft in Washington Square is ridiculous, great burgers.
Really?
Really, really good. What else we got? Even next door, Public House has really good burgers. What else? You've got burgers, no? Am I missing a couple?
Well, no, I think those are some
Bartley's.
really...
Bartley's is very greasy, just
Yeah.
fried up burgers, hundreds of different types of burgers. It's a ridiculous place. It also has a huge line on the weekends.
Yeah.
But it's an institution in Harvard and Boston.
I also love a place called Burton's that's right just past Fenway or in the Fenway area, across the street from the cinema that's over at the Landmark Center. You go past Chipotle, right around the corner is Burton's there. They've got a good burger too.
Oh yeah, Burton's Grill.
Yep.
Steakhouse too.
Yeah, it's a steakhouse.
Yeah.
They make a really good burger there.
A block away, there's a Tasty Burger that just opened up.
Oh, really?
Which is probably more in line with, we got U-Burger in Kenmore?
Mhm.
Yeah, with that.
A lot of people love U-Burger.
Yeah, U-Burger, Be Good. Be Good's probably a more takeaway, $5 or $6 burgers that are not nearly as greasy as the other places.
Yeah.
They're good.
So, what about for our vegetarian friends out there? I try
Tough
vegetarian burgers here and there, but what about some vegetarian fare that have you tasted, checked out? Got any recommendations?
I like the veggie burger at Be Good, but that's honestly the only probably veggie burger I've ever eaten.
Do they make their own?
I eat a lot of meat.
Or do they?
No, they totally do, yeah.
So they make their own?
Yeah, it's good, it's good. And that's more of a takeaway, $5 or $6 place. But at a restaurant, I don't know. You're stumped me there, Ken.
So, look, folks out there, if you've got some good suggestions as it relates to good vegetarian fare, and particularly a good veggie burger where they make them there on their own, let us know. I'd love to see some of that on the chat, or if anybody here has got some thoughts about that, we'd love to know about that.
The Grasshopper in Brighton Center is a vegetarian restaurant.
Is it vegan? It's vegan, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. And it's good.
Yeah.
I've eaten there. But I don't have a lot of comparisons in terms of that. I'm not vegan, so I don't eat it as often as maybe I should.
Yeah, definitely probably should.
Questions that folks might have out there, or anything coming over the chats. Yes, sir. Tell us who you are.
I'm Michael Halpern. I'm
Hey,
a
Mike.
sophomore.
Hey.
What would you say is the best sushi?
So Michael from the audience is asking about sushi, best sushi that's out there. What are your thoughts? Do you eat sushi?
I do, not nearly enough. I like it a lot. I don't tend to go that often. Been to Masoba a few times, which is Cambridge Street on the backside of Beacon Hill towards Government Center. Thought it was really, really good. Some of my restaurant friends are going to make fun of me for trying to decipher what is good or not. But,
Oh, really?
Masoba's good. There's what's the absurdly high-end sushi place? Was it Oh Yeah? Oh Yeah?
Oh.
Which you can't even.
Oishi.
Is it Oishi?
Is it Oishi?
I think so.
I think it's Oishi.
But you got Fugako. It's really good on
Fugako's
Beacon
good.
Street in Brookline.
Sushi is expensive anyway.
It's really expensive. Zen 360 in Brookline Village actually has half-price sushi. There's a place down Com Ave near going towards Chestnut Hill, towards BC area. It's the name slips me, but they have half-price sushi every night after 5 or 6.
Really?
$1 Sapporos.
Boy,
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't know
get
what to
back.
think about
Yeah.
that.
People love it. It's great.
Is that-
Sushi
I like
or I forget the name of it.
I like Malukin right here in Kenmore Square.
Yes.
I think they do a really
Oh, yeah.
good job. Malukin here.
Free karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke
and
every
they got
night.
karaoke there
Yeah.
all the time at Malukin. Yeah.
Students talk about fins in Kenmore Square.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm hearing the students, John says students talk about fins in Kenmore Square as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. It's right on the corner of Ginza. That's it. Ginza, right around campus here. It's good, but it is expensive when you get the sushi there, but it's really good. Question?
Yep. JL Corbin asks, what is the best coffee in Boston?
I was, JL is a person after my own heart. I was going to ask that question too. Coffee. You drink a lot of coffee?
I don't, actually.
You don't?
No.
Well, tell us. What are people talking about in terms of best coffee spots?
Well, it's
and
usually-
coffee, probably coffee. They don't want coffee spot. They want the cup of Joe.
Yeah, Pavement always comes up. Pavement, 1369 Coffee House, which is Central Inman. Pavement is up on Boylston Street there, always popular places. What am I missing? I'm tough on coffee.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
I drink a lot of coffee, and I think I'll drink just about anything. But the coffee I like, I'm going back to my friends at Clear Conscience. I like their coffee. I think they got the best cup of fair trade coffee that I've ever tasted. It's got a real body to it. It's the kind of thing that I think to myself, this can't be fair trade coffee, and it's really good. There's a lot of care that I think they take with it. I'm also the kind of person who will drink Starbucks as much as I'll drink Dunkin' Donuts. So I just like good coffee. I also like sometimes little mom and pop shops that give you that blue cup with coffee in it. But I think I'm a little partial to Clear Conscience in terms of what I really, really enjoy in terms of a cup of coffee. And you know, I think for me, coffee, and when I go into a coffee shop, for me, it's about walking in and being able to smell coffee and sort of catch this vibe about coffee that I think you don't always get nowadays. So I think that's just as important, and it probably makes the coffee taste better.
She also recommended, her favorite was Taffy's.
Taffy's
and
is suggested, and where's Taffy's?
in South Campus, actually.
Where's Taffy's at South Campus? Anyone know?
Tate, and the T's look like F's.
Oh,
That's
what's that?
Tate.
Tate? And where is that in South
They're
Campus?
at St. Mary's Street on the sea. They're the first stop out of Kenmore on the sea line.
So folks are talking about this place called Tate, we think's the name of it. First stop off of the sea line above Brown, right around South Campus is the recommendation we're getting from, was it JL?
J.L. Corbin.
JL Corbin
Yeah,
about
French
coffee.
pastries.
What's that?
They have French pastries.
Oh, and they got French
that kind of
pastries
thing.
there too. So good
If
stuff.
you go out past the sea, Cafe Fix is supposed to be really good, which is Washington Square. That's a place I've had meetings there a couple times, and you go in and you smell the coffee.
Yeah, that's nice. Yes, sir.
Hi, I was one of the tweets
Tell us who
in
you
the
are.
room before.
He's coming
Tweeter
clean.
and calm. Just kind of saying with coffee and as winter's approaching, best place for hot chocolate.
So the question is, with winter approaching, where do we get that nice cup of hot chocolate?
Yeah, I asked that question last winter when it was freezing. Murdoch's in Harvard Square, almost everyone responded.
Really? What about
60%.
Murdoch's? What's
It's
about
just creamy. It's great. It's a chocolate. It's I think it's L.A. Murdoch's in Harvard Square next to the Brattle Theater. It's just really good. They have great desserts, chocolate cake, mousse cake, little chocolates, little mice chocolates. It hands down wins every time I ask that.
Very nice. Anyone talk about things like Mexican hot chocolate or spiced up hot chocolate or anything like that?
That specific.
No, not that specific. Other questions that folks have? These are great. Yes.
I'm Amanda. I'm a senior in comm.
Hey, Amanda.
On Comm Ave, we have the battle for Thai food against Noodle Street and Brown Sugar. Do you have a preference when it comes to Thai food?
And all right, so the question is, as we look at Comm Ave, there's sort of the battle for Thai food. We got Noodle Street, we've got
Brown
sugar.
And
Brown Sugar and Nud Pub are some of those places. Any preferences in terms of?
Out of those three, I've always preferred Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar.
I'm closer to where I tend to go to Rod D a lot more, which used to be Coolidge Corner, Washington Square. Doc Bua, which is not too far here on Harvard, is another great place. But Brown Sugar I've been to out of those three, and Rod D is where I go to almost every Sunday at 5 o'clock.
I'm a big Nud Pub fan. I just think that they've got great pad thai there, fairly quick. It can be a little pricey, depending on what you get, but I just love the flavors there, and it was nice to see them open back up after they changed locations. So.
Is that sit down or takeaway?
You can do either.
Sure.
Yep, you can do either, and I think it gets a pretty big clientele during the school year right here at BU. And so's Noodle Street. I've been to Noodle Street a few times. I like Noodle Street, but I just think I love Nud Pub hands down. Other questions folks have? These are great questions, comments. Yes.
Hi, Kat. I'm a sophomore in CAS.
Cat.
Yes. Being a poor college student, I'm always trying to find things that's like free or cheap. Any suggestions of what to do, like if I have a day off?
So we've got a question from Kat in the audience here. And she says, being the poor, emaciated college student that she is, and with like not a dime in her pocket, she doesn't even have lunch. Everyone here has lunch that they brought, except for Kat sitting out there. She's looking pitiful out there. So, but Kat says, hey, poor college student like me, talk to me about some of these really fun, exciting things that you think folks can be doing for free around here.
One, just get out and explore the city. The Marriott House, what's the building down Faneuil Hall? you can actually go up to the top of its observation deck.
Custom house.
Custom house, yes.
Custom house.
I think it's after 4 o'clock and figure out the exact days. There's free to go up to the observation desk and look down at Faneuil Hall, look down at the Boston Harbor. It's actually an amazing view. It's one of the coolest buildings in Boston. That's a great little thing, other than just enjoying. There's always street performers on the city here in Boston, especially now with the students back. There's Berkeley students, when they're back, the music in Boston just gets immensely better on the streets. And these guys are always playing, especially on Newbury Street, especially on Boylston, Mass Ave corner.
How about the Rose Kennedy Greenway? How's the vibe down there for that sort of stuff? It's fairly new.
It's new, yeah. It's still relatively quiet.
Yeah.
It's a really cool area, and that has free Wi-Fi if you actually want to sit out and do work there or read there. It's a great little area. But I don't notice too many musicians. There are actually a lot of food trucks on Rose Kennedy Greenway, which is pretty neat. Back to free stuff.
Yeah.
What's
Kat, what have you done that's been like, you're just saying, wow, this was great, this was amazing, and it was free?
I like to last semester I walked to the North End 3 times a week, just from campus.
And it's a beautiful
And
walk.
it's such a
Yeah, it's
gorgeous
great.
walk through the public gardens, through the commons, seeing all kids playing. It's fun and just great.
So Kat's making the suggestion, if folks didn't hear, that a walk in Boston, and Tom said the same thing, is just wonderful. And she talked about her experiences a few times, 3 times a week, walking from here to the North End and taking a route that takes you through the Commons and the public gardens and some of the really beautiful places where you'll see real people moving around, kids and families, and you catch a real sense of what the city might be all about.
yeah. And even roaming around some of the neighborhoods in Beacon Hill are absolutely gorgeous just to see,
And historic.
yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Michael, you got another comment or question?
Well, speaking of the North End, my parents are going to be coming down for Parents Weekend, and we want to go to one of the best Italian restaurants there. What do you think?
Okay, so Michael has got a question. He says, speaking of the North End, we got Parents Weekend will be coming up, and he's got about a month to plan. So he's trying to really impress his parents. They're going to pay for it, but he's going to impress them with the pick, right? And so Michael is wondering, North End and Italian food, or just that whole vibe that we hear about the North End. What are some places that you like?
Yeah,
or
North End is
suggest?
great. I mean, just actually hanging out there in the weekend night, the vibe, the energy is awesome, especially weather is nice. Are you looking to drain your parents? Luca is a great spot right on, Hanover Street, Bricko. Giacomo's is a local favorite, but line starts at 4:30. The doors open at 5. Really small place. It's a really quick meal, but it's really good, very popular. I always like Cantina Italiana, which is also just a little ways down the street of Hanover. It's a larger venue. It's relatively moderately priced, $15-20, I think. But you can kind of enjoy yourself and sit and hang out a little longer than at Giacomo's, where you definitely feel rushed. Bricko is a great spot. El Panino, Preza. I mean, there's tons. In all honesty, I don't think. I mean, you've been there a lot. I don't think you can walk into a bad place like that. Because if you're not good, you're not going to survive there. And pretty much every place is great. Ernesto's is great for pizza on Salem Street.
Hey, talk to me a little bit more about pizza. I'm a New York guy, and I've been in Boston for years. So I grew up in New York. I come to Boston, and it's amazing that I stayed because they don't know how to make pizza here. But can you give me a sense? Pizza joints, pizza places.
Well, Ernesto's is great because they will throw everything in the kitchen on the plate. Like
Right.
New York City throws the macaronis or
Right.
lasagna, everything on there. I mean,
Right.
New York pizza is really awesome. Ernesto's pretty close to that. Il Mundo and Brigham Circle. Have you been there?
I have. It's a
I
good
like
spot.
that.
I like
it's
it.
really good. Crazy Dough, actually, there's a number of them. They have a shepherd's pie pizza, which kind of is like your New York, throw everything on there. Crazy Dough is actually outside that other university down the road, and also outside Berkeley.
And now in North Station.
And now in North Station.
Yes,
opened
that's right.
yesterday.
Did they open yesterday?
Yeah.
Awesome. And Doug actually owns that, one of the nicest guys in town. So Crazy Dough's great. Of course, you got across the street here is Upper Crust, which good pizza. But Ernesto's is totally different than
Upper Crust.
yes. Pico in the South End is an awesome spot for pizza. It's totally different, a little more kind of brunt crust. I guess you can take out. It's no more a restaurant. It's actually, they have pizza, beer, and ice cream. It's a great spot. Have you ever been there?
No, I have not.
It's awesome. And great craft beer selections. Really good pizza.
Santarpios is what we heard
I've
too.
never been there, actually.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
His head, John's eyes are rolling back in his head as he describes Santarpio. So it clearly sounds like one of those places you want to go. You know, you mentioned the South End too. Lots of really good, interesting things over in the South End of Boston as well. Great communities and exciting things going on there, particularly on weekends, and lots of restaurants too.
Yeah, there's a ton of restaurants.
Lots of good food.
It's actually another place to kind of roam around. Beautiful old architecture of Boston. Probably the stoops on some of the back streets when you go towards the South End Buttery area are absolutely amazing. You know, the stoops that go up to the first floor, very Brooklyn, New York style type.
Sure.
And I learned that my dad grew up in Brooklyn, so
Not bad.
it's a great area. Pico in South End, I like. There's Anchovies. It's kind of a little dive bar restaurant in the South End. I think it's on Tremont, and really affordable food and really good. But it's a great little spot. Very, very dark. Because some of the other places, Sibling Robbery, are all there.
Sure.
They definitely get pricey. Aquitaine is a great French restaurant. Definitely pricey. I like Anchovies. It's very casual, very relaxed.
Well, I hope if people take anything away, it sounds to me like you take your camera with you, you walk to some of these places, you're going to see some really wonderful architecture around the city, some really neat little courtyards and gardens all over the place, and you can take some wonderful pictures while you're out there. So
Yeah, South End has a lot of great courtyards that I've just discovered recently.
yeah,
It's really cool.
Great ones, great ones. Other questions folks might have? Yes.
Tom, you obviously know a lot of what's happening in the city. What are we missing? What's Boston missing? Other than the pizza that Dean Elmore.
And a good knish too.
I think
We're
we
missing a
need
good
more
knish.
neon lights in Boston.
Really?
Yeah, I love neon lights. Like the
Like the Sitco sign. We need more
Sitco sign, the theater on.
saying you're so right, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the theater
yeah.
on the Boston Commons got some great lights. Cantina Italiana has the coolest old school neon light on Salem Street there, Hallam Street. Austin's got a few, and I love neon. Not to the
Neon.
extent of Times Square, but it's
Who
definitely
knew?
one of my favorites.
Who knew? Other questions folks might have. These are great. We've got one up from online.
We have one branching on that North End topic, modern pastry or Mike's pastry?
So the question is, settle a dispute here. Modern pastry or Mike's pastries?
Bova's.
But,
I like both.
did you hear that?
No, but actually modern, I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and modern, she always prefers modern. Apparently modern makes it, there's a longer wait, but because they make like your cannolis right there. They pump them up right there. Whereas Mike's, unbelievable how many people go through there. But she's a very connoisseur of cannolis, and she prefers modern. I actually always go to Bova's when I'm around there. Bova's is open 24/7, so you know, if you happen to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning,
I
you
don't know
can stop
why,
in
but
for
yeah,
a black and white cookie or something. But yeah.
Fantastic.
So, question for you.
Oh, yeah,
I've happened to see you with a Guinness or two. What's your favorite spot for a Guinness?
Believe it or not, there's a place called the Snug that's
Yes.
not even in Boston. It is actually in Hingham. And
Yes.
I understand that this place, I didn't realize this, but apparently people rate the greatest Guinness pours in the world. And the Snug is number 6 in the world
Really?
for pour. And it's one of those places, it's a really small place. And again, it's all about vibe, I think, for me. You go in, it's clearly a real family kind of atmosphere there. People, this is a place where you're not going to go and get what you want right away because people want to talk to you. And they want to make sure you're fine and you're good. And it takes about 20 minutes for that Guinness to come out because they take their time with it. They put a lot of care in it. And what makes for a good pour is it is creamy from head to toe.
Yeah,
So
I've
it's
been
great.
there. It's a cool bar.
Yeah, it
Irish
is.
music. People
You
really
got
get
it.
into it and up and
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very cool spot.
And by the way, I am 21, so I do like a Guinness here or there, and I just enjoy it. Really love it.
I like-
my friends who've gone to Dublin tell me, or to Ireland, say, well, you haven't really had a Guinness until you've gone there. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been to Ireland a few times, but Boston does all right. Half of Ireland's here anyway.
Yeah,
So, Mr. Dooley's on Broad Street is one
I've
of my
been there.
favorite places.
Been to Mr.
Hands
Dooley's.
down, the nicest bar during the holiday season. With the decor
Yeah, it's a good place.
and the Guinness is good, and the music, traditional Irish music.
Nice. I see we've got some more questions.
We have
Yes.
another one. What do you recommend college students to splurge on, such as a restaurant, event, etc., while they're here on Boston? And that's from Miss LLB.
Miss LLV. Miss LLV online asked if I'm a college student and I've just got to splurge on that one thing, what should I splurge on while I'm here in Boston?
Like going out, restaurants and all? Is that what it is?
She says restaurants or events.
Restaurants or events? What kind of things we should splurge on?
The new town, have you seen that place?
No.
It's pretty amazing. It's definitely high-end, but it's multi-level. It's a Lydia Shire, Jasper White restaurant. It's
You've said it all
just
right
it's
there.
built into Heinz. Just for Boston, it's totally different. It's just multi-levels. I think they have 3 bars, 3 separate restaurants in there, and it's just kind of, you walk in, you're just amazed by it.
So this is a parents' weekend kind of
That's
question.
definitely
right?
parents'
Yeah, that's a
weekend.
parents' weekend kind of thing.
Yes, we're very wealthy grandparents.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other sort of pleasure out there that you say, spend some money and do this? Or anybody in the audience
Yeah,
got
recommend-
like this real wonderful pampering thing that you would say, you got to splurge for this.
A place on Tremont Street, the Beehive, I want to say. You remember that?
The Beehive.
Great live music.
Yeah,
There's
great
some
live.
Jazz, like really talented guys on stage, and really good food. Raw, like great drink selection, like raw seafood, good stuff.
Yeah,
So
Beehive's
Taylor, our
great.
DJ, is saying that the Beehive is definitely the place to splurge and go to. Great music. It's getting a lot of hits right now.
Yeah, Beehive's a cool spot. Great place for music. Like every place we mentioned for music or whatever we mentioned, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 places that we totally forget for each topic. I mean, Beehive's a great example of live
it is.
music.
Yeah, and you know,
It's a great burger too, by the way.
Oh,
So the Beehive has an outstanding burger.
word is that the Beehive's got a great burger there too, as well.
We got another question actually on Facebook.
Question from Facebook.
Yep. He wants to know which place in Boston offers the best view of the city.
Question is, which place in Boston offers the best view of the city?
Stevie too.
Well, and everybody in the audience is saying, well, of course it's Stuvie too. What was that, a setup kind of question? But outside of Stu, in addition to
Most of us don't have
Stuvie
that
too.
luxury of
Yes,
Stuvie
right,
too.
right. What have you seen, aside from the Custom House too? It's got a great view
Yeah,
of
it's a great
Boston.
view. The ICA, the back of the ICA, there's seating area behind the ICA. And you look into Boston, Rose Wharf area, downtown Financial is really beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Charlestown, if you go there, Tavern on the Water has a deck. You can have lunch outside, and looking into Boston is pretty amazing from there too.
That is.
I thought the Bay Tower room has a pretty nice view, and that's a nice splurge too.
Someone in the audience is saying, John in the audience is saying the Bay Tower Room's another great place to see Boston, and it's one of those splurge kinds of places too to have a lunch.
Yeah, probably. Is that the top of the
Top of the hub.
top of the hub? Is
Top of
that
the hub.
Different.
Different.
Yeah, different place. Top of the hub, also a great place, but Bay Tower Room's a different
Yeah,
place.
my mom never takes me there, so
State Street. I think it's on State Street. I think the Bay Tower's on State Street.
I have a question.
Oh, right. We got Jenny Mack with a
Jenny
question.
Mack asking a question. So I want to know, fall is my favorite season. And Boston, in my opinion, one of the best places to be for fall. What
Yeah.
would you say are some great things to do having to do with fall that maybe only happen in the fall in Boston? Something like that. What
Yes.
would be your
So,
suggestion?
fall, one of those great seasons that we've got here, and beautiful place, Boston in the fall. So what are some of those suggestions for one-of-a-kind sorts of things that people would travel here to come and do in Boston?
Well, probably the biggest event is Headed to Charles, which is early October, I think.
I'd say more mid-October.
Is it?
I think it's the weekend of October 22nd through 24th.
Okay, we haven't been, but that's a great event. Tons of people coming in, just on the Charles. The leaves are turning.
There's like a smell in the air that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great time. There are events coming through.
No, I'd say you don't necessarily have to do it right in Boston, but if you can find a way to go pick some apples somewhere, go and do it. Have a hot cider if you like that sort of thing, or hot chocolate, but go somewhere. And there are all these farms not too far from here. You know, you can get to a place like Concord pretty easily, pretty handily. You'll see a little bit of that foliage that everyone talks about, and you'll be able to have just nothing like picking some
Yeah,
apples,
you
eating
got
some
Allendale
apples.
Farms pretty close to here.
Some great places. Get a candied apple, all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
or even just give a weekends at BC football. Actually, a great thing. Give a shout out to my alma mater.
It's okay.
But it's a great weekend.
We're
there. It's a
beeping
great,
that out.
Great
Yeah.
atmosphere. It's happens 6 times a year. It's a great event. It's I mean, that's a huge sporting event that's in Boston. With 50,000 people. I mean, it's a massive stadium.
Comment, question?
Yeah, Oktoberfest.
Wait, let that go by orange. Okay, go ahead.
Oktoberfest in Harvard Square, like music and flea markets.
So the suggestions also Oktoberfest in Harvard Square, flea markets, lots of live music and events. It is a very festive environment also to do right here as well. Other thoughts about that?
Speaking of BC and BU, a little rivalry possibly. We have a question. Any neutral nighttime hotspot between BC and BU? My Eagles Terriers integrated friend group has a tendency to heckle on home turf.
Okay, so someone wrote in online and they said that they've got this Eagles Terriers combined group, and they're tired of the heckling that might happen on home turf either way. So I guess they're trying to figure out first off where the neutral zone is between BC and Harvard, and then secondly within the neutral zone, where are some of those places that you think might be good for people to check out?
For BC Harvard or BCBU?
BCBU.
Yeah.
Right I say Harvard, I meant to say BC.
Down Comm Ave between the two universities?
Yeah, some neutral zone. First off, what do you think the neutral zone is? Let's carve out some things.
Actual area?
We know Eagle Deli is BC. We know Marianne's, that's BC.
Pino's, Presto's, all BC.
We know T's Pub.
Definitely BU.
T. Anthony's, we're in BU territory. Do you think that right around Harvard Ave?
Harvard and Comm, is that kind of the neutral area?
You think that's neutral zone?
Each bar is probably different. I mean, Sunset in that area is, I believe, neutral.
BU. Yeah, you think
yeah,
Sunset's neutral?
Kids.
Oh, okay.
No, you think you? That's what BU thinks they own.
Yeah,
the bar.
man, we think we own everything, but that's okay.
That's probably
so
still a
neutral
hotbed
zone?
of fighting for people.
Yeah.
I think you might even have to move off Comm Ave to a different area to get possibly a neutral area.
So give us a sense.
Deep Ellum, just a ways down, is a
yeah,
great spot.
Deep Ellum's a great place.
Another great craft.
And you know they don't go for that kind of fan
don't.
stuff there. That's a chill place.
Yeah.
That's a cool place.
It is a real good place.
Yeah, go. So tell them to go for Deep Ellum. I think that's it. Deep Ellum is the neutral zone. We'll tell Terrier fans not to go take it over. We'll tell Eagles fans off limits. This is the neutral spot where civilized people come to hang out.
Silhouette might be good too, because they
Silhouette's
might not take any of your crap there. That's a very gritty alternative bar.
Yeah.
They got $7 pitchers. It's a cool spot.
We got another question there or comment about the neutral zone? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm
Okay.
just telling you, we have about 5 minutes left. Less
Okay.
than 5 minutes left.
Oh, I'm totally got less than 5 minutes left. So what's your favorite place? You get a lot of stuff coming in from everywhere else. When you're like not working and maybe not at home, what's a good spot for you?
For food, dinner, and stuff.
Just in general.
I mean, I love the
What's
public
your
garden.
day like?
Public garden as a place to chill.
Yeah.
And Boston Common as a place to kind of hang out. For nightlife, I've really been Eastern Standard as a cool vibe, place to go. For eating, I pretty well documented addiction to Anna's, so I go there a lot. Really a creature of habit, which is kind of funny why people actually follow me, because I definitely tend to do the same stuff. Those are definitely some of my favorite spots. The garden, though, is absolutely breathtaking every time I go there. It's amazing. I probably go there at least 4 or 5 times a week.
Hey, talk to me technology for a second here. There are all these sort of check-in devices that are happening right now. Do you use any of those?
Yeah, Foursquare is very good for me. I use Foursquare. I don't use Places. Facebook doesn't work from BostonTweet because I have to be my other name, alias.
Okay.
So it doesn't work for me. Foursquare is phenomenal for me, and it's been great. And I will actually leave tips throughout the city. So I probably have 200-300 tips of cheap places to eat. You know, half-price food at Grendo's Den or White Horse Tavern, half-price food. So anytime you check in, it'll pop up and say, you know, between 5 and 6, you can get half-price food here. So I like Foursquare a lot. It really works well.
Have you tried some of the other ones like the Dwala?
I did. I didn't get into it though.
Yep.
And I'm on the phone enough. I don't need hundreds of apps. You know, when I kind of 1 or 2 or 3 that really work for me, I like. So right now I'm just using Twitter and Foursquare. I'm really hoping for Foursquare to kind of push ahead of Places.
Why'd you decide to go with Twitter?
I thought when the economy was crashing, I had 2 startups that were worthless, and I lost a decent amount of money, and I had no income. Twitter was the most affordable way for me, and I thought the most effective way for me to communicate what was happening in the city. And this was 2 years ago, and it was still really new, fairly new at the time. And I thought it was the best communication platform to get the message out, and the cheapest. You use it from your phone, and it's from mobile, and it was great. I tried it probably 6-8 months earlier as myself, and there was nothing to talk about. But when I started looking outside and what was around me in the city, it just made perfect sense for me.
Our quick entrepreneurial lesson for the day. So look, we've got to start to wrap it up, and I'm gonna in a moment ask our DJ to rock us out of here. But again, I want to give some big thanks and big shout outs to the folks from BU Central and Amanda for letting us be down here today. I think this was a great place to do it. Thanks to the folks who showed up live here to come and see us. This was great, good conversations. Thanks to those folks online who were posting and giving some information. And certainly Mary and Jenny and Kat, thank you very much for what you did to make this possible. And of course, our DJ, Taylor Walker, thanks a lot for showing up today. This was great. Thanks, and thanks for all.